everybody. Welcome back to Every Day is Friday, the show where we dive into the stories and experiences from people from all walks of life. Today we have Chase with us. He's a music producer, artist, and he lives in San Diego. He lives to inspire. Through his music, he creates something bigger than just beats and lyrics. He tells a story, connecting with people and leaving a mark on the industry. Chase, welcome to the show.
Dude, thanks for having me. It feels amazing to be here, be back again, round two.
No, it's actually I'm really thankful that you showed up for round two because the first podcast went so amazing, and then I said why not do round two about 6 months after that. And for the listeners who may not be familiar with your line of work yet, could you give us a quick rundown of who you are and what you do and why you do it?
Yeah, so my name is Chase. I go by Chasefelloff. I felt super inspired at a young age to get into music. I was super into at the time it was everything from pop to rap, and I loved to listen, hear the artist stories, and I started getting a lot more inspiration growing up when one of my neighbors down the street was getting super involved with music and writing, and I wanted to produce for him. I wanted to work on music, and I wanted to do it alongside him. His name is Cisco, and so I ended up getting my home studio. You can kind of see in the background, I got all my speakers and everything. So I ended up getting all that for Christmas one year, just started working alongside Cisco, felt super passionate about music since then. It's been 7 or 8 years. We love to just inspire others, create musical, we like to produce, we like to make songs and just bring some energy into the world that might be missing or something new, or tell a story. And it's always a fun way to just dump out creative energy and inspire others to work on stuff as well. So it's great. We love to try to create songs that set the mood. And if you want to go to the gym, we have those gym songs. You're feeling good just driving on a Sunday down the street or down the road. You got those chill songs. So we kind of like to set the vibes and curate the vibes for the listeners and send positive messages.
Yeah, how did growing up in San Diego shape your sound?
Oh, I think it was less of the fact that it was me growing up in San Diego and more of the fact of who I surrounded myself with in San Diego. And I surrounded myself with a bunch of like-minded people that loved the same music I was on. We would share similar tastes when it comes to, I create a melody and they'd be like, yo, this is, I love the way this is sounding. I think it was the people that I surrounded myself with rather than me being in this area. I think if I surrounded myself with the same people and I grew up in Ohio somewhere, for example, I would probably be still doing the same exact thing. So, I can say being in San Diego is very inspiring to, be able to go down to the beach whenever I want and just get some inspiration for the beach. If I'm making more of a tropical kind of vibe, or if I'm just feeling like I'm in a kind of a deficit of thought or writer's block or something, I'll be able to go to different various sites or get some good energy outside, whatever I want. So I feel like that is something that definitely is reflected in my music, especially when I'm stuck. But other than that, it's definitely about the people that I surround myself with that are also very inspired by music. So
Now, Chase, what's the meaning behind Chase Fell Off?
Oh wow. I wonder. Okay, let's dive back. So, originally, what did I go by? I think my name when I first started was Volzo, and that was my old gamer tag playing games back in the day. So I just went by that. And it actually happened one day where I was a big Juice World fan back in, I think this was maybe 2016, 2017. This story happened, and it was right before Juice World had dropped a collab tape with Future, and he was kind of starting to promote it on his Instagram, and I was using Instagram at the time, not that I do now. Nothing I don't do this type of stuff now. It was kind of feeding negative energy into the world, which is not needed. So I definitely stay away from that now. But at the time, I would comment something people can argue about in the comments to kind of get traction in my comments and try to get people to my page. And so at that time, Juice World was posting kind of snippets and like to foreshadow his album with Future. And I commented and said, Juice World, if this album isn't good, you've officially fallen off. And I didn't really think anything of it. I was kind of just saying something controversial to gather some, people to reply and say something. And ended up being a comment that did, it blew up and it started getting a lot of likes. And then Juice World responded himself and he said, I think I have this phrase ingrained in my brain. He said, take it easy. Or he said, if the world was flat and I fell off the side of it, I still wouldn't fall off. Take it easy, kiddo. I'm forever. And when he said that, the comment blew up so much more, and everyone came to my recent post on Instagram at the time. I have it archived. I look back at it sometimes, and it's just got hundreds of comments of people. You fell off. You fell off. No, Chase, you fell off. So then I was just like, you know what? We'll adapt. We'll adapt. We're Chase fell off now. And I like people to think of it as not Chase fell off, like not I fell off, but it is just the name. Like there is no meaning behind like actually falling off. It's just the name, Chase fell off. So yeah, that's the story behind how I got that name. It's very, very fun.
Very cool indeed. Now, how do you approach making new tracks?
It's all about kind of it. Right now, I'm going through a phase where I am experimenting with different genres. I typically would be doing a lot of rap because I like to work. I have a lot of like friends that are in the rap scene that like to work together. So I like to do that. And I do have a passion. I love making beats and everything. But I've been experimenting more into the EDM, like electronic techno, like hard techno, whatever it is, kind of genre. And so I feel like when I sit down, kind of just like, let me pull up a certain piano sound and start playing it. And I have my piano here. It's not you can't see it in the video, or you can kind of see it in the mirror, but I'll start playing something and kind of see like, okay, do I like the direction of this? And if I like the way that sounds, then I'll just like, I'll start just building off random things. And, it's nice to have certain programs that allow me to do, kind of like, I call it like, it's kind of like cheating. I don't really know how to play music. I don't know how to like, I don't know music theory is what I'm saying. And, I never really formally learned piano, but because of some of the, stuff that the software has enabled me, like I can kind of cheat and it'll let me play things in certain keys that like, it basically, long story short, I know it sounds a little confusing, but it makes it easier for me to work without knowing music theory. So I'll kind of just sit down, play some stuff, whatever sounds good to me. I'm like, all right, this is a cool little melody we got going on. Then we'll work on the drums. So I'll kind of play around, and if that isn't sounding good to me, I'll go on platforms that I have for samples and stuff I have downloaded and go through old YouTube playlists for stuff I want to sample, and then I'll download those, chop them up, like edit it however I'd like, and then that would be more like a hip hop oriented thing. And I'll kind of just, it's kind of just however I'm feeling like in that moment, like if this is sounding good, I'll work on this. If I'm not feeling inspired by this sound, we'll go over and work on some hip hop. We'll go work on some pop stuff and make something that an indie band would sing to. It's kind of just however, if I'm liking the energy I'm going with that, I'll stick with it, and if not, we'll move to the next.
Now, what's your favorite part of producing music? Is it the beats, lyrics, or like mixing it?
It's definitely just being able to dump my creativity onto a canvas. I've kind of been taking more of an approach of, rather than growing up working on music, I would stick to the structure. You got four. You're like, let's say you got a 16-bar verse, then you got an 8-bar hook, 16-bar verse, and you kind of just follow this structure, and certain instruments come in and go away based on if it's verse, hook, pre-hook, whatever it is. And it was just this structure. But now I'm starting to kind of take a step back and literally like imagine an artist is painting something, like literally blank canvas, like just splatter stuff on it and make something of like, you don't need to stick to any guidelines or structure, just like be creative. So my favorite part is being able to dump that creative. Like I'll start off with the weirdest sounding synthesizer you'll ever hear, where you're just like, I don't even know what's happening in my ears, but I'm like, I like the way that this, like the energy this is for the intro to this track. And then kind of like being able to toy around with editing certain sounds to make them sounded like a more like to catch a certain niche or energy that I want to bring on the song. So I would say it's definitely the creative side of playing with sounds, putting them together, seeing what mashes up well. And that's definitely my favorite part about just making the music. I mean, I love to mix, but mixing it, making it sound great is just that's probably one of the biggest thing that sets me back from releasing as much, as like going through and spending hours listening to the same little loop to make sure it sounds perfect. So, I mean, I enjoy mixing things to make it sound nice, but oh my gosh, the process is like something I definitely don't like. So kind of finding a balance of being able to work on what I do love, which is making the sound, and then just actually sticking it out and mixing it so I can get something out. So yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a signature sound?
I wouldn't say so. I would say I'm still trying to find that. I'm not necessarily a signature sound. I'm trying to find the sound I believe suits me the best. I would say that I definitely don't have a signature sound though. I kind of make a wide variety, and a lot of the stuff that I've been working on, especially recently, is not even like released. So you wouldn't know that. But you'll come to find shortly. Hopefully, we'll get a release out. But you'll start to see in the songs I'm releasing in the future that there's really no like theme or like commonality between them. They're all very standalone like songs that just all bring different energies and different types of production. So I would say I'm still navigating what my sound is, and I think that's something that a lot of artists take years and years to discover. So, I feel like right now, yeah, I don't have a set sound, but that's what there's the beauty in that is like I'm able to give variety. I'm able to, make whatever's on my mind, and it appeals to, all these different audiences, whether that's whatever you're into. So I can appreciate that, but no, I do not think I have my own style or sound.
Now, for the listeners, if you want to look up Chase, he's Chasefelloff on all platforms. And for you, I mean, how do you decide when a song is ready to be released?
I like to, so right now I have a Google Drive of all of the projects I've worked on, whether that's unfinished demos, whether that's like random little ideas that I wrote and I kind of just bounced it, as they say, or like rendered it into its like an MP3. So I'll throw it in my drive. I'll listen back to my drive and the songs I've kind of collected in there. And when I feel inspired, like, whoa, like in this moment when I made that, I didn't think it was that special, but now I'm listening back like, wow, this was really a good like piece. It'll inspire me to go sit down, finish it out, and try and get it for released. But to answer your question more specifically, I would say that what makes me, your question was, what do I decide like to make, like when I release, what is it that I'm deciding about for the song?
Yeah, how do you decide when a song is ready for release?
Yeah, I would say when I feel that I've given the song all that I can and I'm satisfied with the amount of work I've put in and the way that it sounds. And the hardest step to that for me is mastering, because I have to master my own tracks, which is essentially like perfecting it, putting the beauty into it, making sure everything sits perfectly for the listener and is just cohesive. That is the part that probably delays it. But once I throw a master on and I start working on it, that's usually when I'm like, I'm ready. Like this is the final step. So yeah.
Now on your Instagram, you say live to inspire. What message do you hope your music gives people?
I want people to feel like they can do what they want. Like I've always had this mindset where it's like, growing up, my mindset has changed, but growing up, I would like go to an event in LA and be like, oh, there's all these famous people. Like they're so famous. They're so above me. Like they're so like, they've done it. Like I'm scared to talk to them. But it's like, at the end of the day, you got to think about it. Like, we're all people. We can literally all do the same thing. So I try to, right now, I'm not in a space in my music where I don't think I'm capable of proving to everyone that you can do it, because I haven't necessarily like gotten like some kind of fame behind it or anything. But at some point, like regardless of what it is, I don't think that you need to be famous or have that. I think just spreading the message that you can work and do what you love, and like you can be those people if you want. You could be successful, whatever you view success as, if that's monetarily or happiness or whatever. Like we are all the same. People have done it before. That means you can do it. Like so my point is, when I say live to inspire, like I'm here showing you what I do with my life. And I'm not saying that I'm this great person. I try to be like as best I can, but like you can really do it is basically my point. Like you have a dream, do the path that it takes for whatever you think it takes to get to your dream, and like you can do it. You just got to put the work in. So yeah.
Live to inspire. I love it.
Exactly.
I always say go chase your dreams, because your dreams won't chase you.
Yeah, right. 100%. 100%. It's like you gotta put the work in. Like, and it's like I really haven't had that change of mindset until about a year ago, I'd say, where I was like, wait, I actually got to do this. Like, no one's not gonna do this for me. Like, So I think that ever since, yeah, I've kind of had developed that mindset of just like, I'm working every single day to get where I want to be right now. And it's like, it's a lot of work, but no one else is going to do it. And if you don't put in the work, you're going to be, where you are right now, which is, if you're okay with that, you're okay with that. But, I'm trying to do bigger things. So I'm on that route right now to like what it takes to get there.
Now, can you dive into your last album you released and what inspired you behind that?
Um, yeah, so I dropped an album well, that was honestly a while ago. It makes me feel like I need to drop more. I think it was in March of either 23 or 24. 24. I think it was 24. I really hope it was 24. If it was 2 years ago, that's a problem. Anyway, the album that I dropped, the inspiration behind that was at that time in my life, I was really in tune with. I love to make love songs. I love to make songs that people could relate to, and I thought that that was a really good way to connect with someone. Is knock on wood, everybody like feels love. Everyone knows like has like a they want to feel love, they do feel love, or they can love others and all that. So I felt like love was a great way to, whether you're male or female, be able to connect with the audience. So I spent I want to say about 3 to 4 weeks, or not, like 3 to 4 months in the studio coming up with ideas. And that was when we worked on that whole project together. Some of my friends that I met back when I used to do like I did like summer camps at music studios. So I met a bunch of people through there. They had home studios. I worked with them. Shout out to Daniel and Eric and Erickson. But yeah, so we'd all work out of the studio, and I was just super inspired to make love songs. So I think that was kind of a period of my life where I was growing the most in terms of my musical abilities, and where I was really bringing out more energy than I had before. So yeah, I feel like the inspiration behind that last album was just creating a project that is relatively cohesive in terms of the genre, which it's all like an indie kind of poppy hill mix, and try to connect in the audience in the like scenery or like the topic of love. And so I think that was what inspired that at the time. Since then, I've kind of moved and transitioned into like a different type of sound, and I think that has to do with now that I'm solely working on producing my own tracks, because at the time I hadn't been producing everything myself. So yeah, I mean, I'm going a little deeper than I need to, but yeah, that was kind of the point, or like the inspiration behind Not Another Love Song.
No, I highly recommend everyone out there and go listen to it. And your energy you bring, you can really feel it in the music. So I'm gonna say you did a really great job with
Dude,
it.
thank you so much.
I do have a couple of those songs on my playlist now.
Awesome, bro. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Yeah, thank you for saying that. It means a lot.
So how does your emotions play a role in the music you create today?
Uh, I feel like it plays a role more in the way that it sounds rather than the lyrics. Say, since I've been a lot more focused on production, I can say that my emotions are transferred into what sound, like, am I playing in a minor scale, a major scale? Am I, you know, am I making it fast paced? Is it a slow song where I want it to feel melancholy? Is it like, so I feel like now my emotions are being pushed into the production itself rather than the lyrics, if that makes sense. So,
So do
yeah.
you like the producing side of it better than the artist side, or you just like doing both at the same time?
I love doing both. I feel as if I've had this conversation with a lot of my friends. Right now, as Chasefelloff, I don't necessarily have like an image. And as if you want to be an artist, you need to have an image. Like, that is, regardless if you make good music or not, you need to have something that people can look at and be like, this is who this person is. And I haven't really developed that yet. So if I wanted to take the music route, it would have been more optimal for me right now in my life to take the producer role, because I know I'm talented enough to make productions for big artists and for people that are just getting traction now or whatever it is. And so I could say I love both sides just as as equally as I love the other. Yeah, I love one side as equally as I love the other. But right now I'm prioritizing my skill and my learning into production, so that way I can kind of master that side. I feel like as I get better and better at production, I still practice singing and writing, and it's I'm still getting better in those areas as well. But um, at the end of the day, I want to be able to be like master the skill of production, so I can kind of go in any direction I want with that. I want to master being able to sing and write, and then I want to master being able to engineer my own track. So if I can do all three and be really good at all three, then that's it. That's a setup for success. I can continue to grow and inspire using those three skill sets, and that's my goal at the end of the day. But I'd say right now, and I don't know how long this phase or like this part of my life will be, I'm very heavily inspired by production rather than singing.
My buddy's a producer, and he helped me produce my songs, Halo and My City. And if you want to look it up, Matty B43. And we even made music videos for all of them. And I highly recommend you do the same for all your clients as well. It's a fun time, and it's something that you can always look back and go, yeah, I did that back in my life, back in that time.
Yeah, it's actually so funny. I did a little $0 budget little film for one of my first songs that I thought was the best of mine at the time. It was called Together, and it's out on YouTube. It's my only music video I've ever done, but I look back and I'm like, dang, that's what you looked like 5 years ago. Like, damn, oh, I remember you setting aside all this time and getting everyone out to film this video with you, and you creatively came up with all this. And when people ask about my music, they look it up and they're like, "Is this you on the music video?" I'm like, "Bro, that's so awesome that that's out there. It's so old. It's like it shows really, not only your dedication that you had for however long you've been doing the music, but it also just shows that you've been really doing it for a while and you're passionate about it." So I love having that video out, and I'm sure you feel a similar way when it comes to your music videos.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than the song. You know what I mean? Like it shows a little bit more emotion. It's images to go with the song, and there's a lot more that goes into it. And anyone could do it on a low budget with an iPhone, even.
That's what we started with, and all it took was simple editing. As long as you know like simply how to edit, you can do it. You don't need to make anything fancy, especially if you're like just getting started as an artist or a producer or whatever it is, and you're still adapting and getting better and growing. Like, you don't really need anything like professional. I mean, you got the budget for it, but as long as you know how to edit and you got an iPhone, you're good. So
Now, do you think social media has changed the way artists grow?
yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, it's all about consistency, and I think we talked about that a little bit on our last podcast, was consistency, and that's all it takes, really. Like, I've had mutual friends to have their lives changed from social media entirely, just from being consistent and posting their music and being consistent and being consistent. Like, that's it. Like, that's all it was. It's just showing that you're there working. And I had a mutual friend. His name is Nathan. He goes by One and Only, and he's a big artist that initially got a lot of traction from TikTok because he was consistent and he had his own sound, and it's all it took was consistency. And so, he's doing really well now, and it's I draw a lot of inspiration from people like that. But my point being, social media is a great way to get your name out there, especially with the way the algorithms are set up on both TikTok and Instagram. It's a journey to get that final goal of like it's totally doable basically through these social media platforms to get that traction. It's very helpful.
No, social media does help you build a solid foundation, and it's really all about the journey, not the destination, but the personal development throughout the journey. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Now, I'm gonna ask you this because what's one mistake new artists should avoid in today's music industry?
I would say trying too much to replicate someone else. If you like, it's never a problem to draw inspiration from those that you like to listen to, but if you're trying too hard to be exactly like them, like, really weird example, let's go like someone that uses a lot of autotune, say like Future, Lil Uzi Vert, Playboi Carti. Like, if you're just taking the same kind of beats that they make music to, and you do the same kind of flows and the same like effects on your vocals. It's like, cool, you're making your own thing, and that's great. You might be drawing inspiration from them and making it a little different. But as long as you are kind of adding your own personal touch to it, I feel like that's where the real growth happens, rather than me looking up, as a new developing artist, like Post Malone type instrumental, and then you go and grab something that sounds like 80 of Post Malone songs and you sing on it just like Post Malone because you love Post Malone. Like, that's something a lot of people may do, is kind of copy. And I feel like that's a route to have fun, and that's a route to showcase maybe your vocal abilities, but it's not a long-term route to creating your own sound and being kind of successful with that. I believe that drawing inspiration from some of the techniques that Post Malone uses and twisting it and making it kind of your own sound is what is the best way that you can kind of differentiate yourselves from another artist. That, why would I want to listen to Chasefelloff if he sounds just like Post Malone and I can just listen to Post Malone? You want to have your own version of it. I'm just using these names for example, but yeah, I would say trying to create your own taste from inspiration that you may have gathered.
Now, what's the hardest part of being in the music artist today?
How competitive it is. It's a huge competition. I mean, everyone wants to be an artist nowadays. All you need is a laptop and a mic and and some headphones, and you're good to go. So, I would say the hardest part is how competitive it is. And it's like, nowadays you go up to someone and say like, hey, I make music. Do you want to like listen to what I got or whatever? And they'll just respond with like, hey, like, what's your SoundCloud? Like, what do it's like, there's a lot of people that make music that, I don't want to say this, but just aren't as talented as they may be one day, but like, they're just not, they'd play it off like, I make really good stuff. And it turns out to be something that, a very niche audience may enjoy. That's where it's hard, is to kind of prove to people initially that like, hey, I make music. I genuinely feel as if I make good music, and I think you would like it because this. And then once they give it the listen, you start to develop those people that can appreciate it and understand that you make like better music maybe. But I feel like the hardest part is pushing yourself, whether that's social media or in person or doing like events or anything, is like proving to the people that you really do create good, like, quality music versus those who may not be as talented. And it's like just a very competitive industry. So it's like, kind of, what can I do better than this person to get my name out there more? And it's just very dense with the amount of people that are trying to be musicians. So that's probably the biggest challenge.
I'm part of it. I know what it's like. And,
Yeah.
Every industry has its challenges. Do you think like talent or hard work matters more in music?
I think it's very important to have both. I don't think that that's either. I think that you need to work, like, if this is what you want in life, you need to work every single day and be creative. You can't, like, you can say, go on ChatGPT and say, hey, like, what can I do to grow myself as an artist? It'll give you some ideas, but that's the same thing that the other 700,000 people are doing, overstatement, but like, that's the same thing that the guidelines everyone else is following. You have to try and do something to separate yourself from the group. And so, hard work is very important, but also, you can have hard work with a very mid-tier product and only go so far. You need to have quality, and you need to have drive and determination to keep working and put that work in. So I would say, yeah, it's not either. I'd say you need both. You really do need both. And obviously, quality or talent is subjective. Some people may like a certain style that others don't like, and and I can say, hey, I really didn't like that song, but then there's another niche group of 1 million people out there that are like, this is what I like to listen to every day. So you gotta take pride in what you're making. If you believe in your product, then put the work in and you can do it. If you really believe in your product. So I'd say it's a mix of both for sure.
No, I'd say the same thing. That's a really good insight, because I mean, you get to build a solid foundation on being an artist, and no one starts off being the best. It takes trial and error, and just keep on trying to be the best you can be, and trying to focus on just improving over time.
hmm Definitely. Yeah. It's a lot. It's a big journey. And like you were saying, it's about the journey. Like, there's so much growth in the journey. Every step you take, there's like a new lesson learned, a new challenge overcame, a new challenge that you may have been defeated by. Whatever it is, like you're learning each step of the way. And like it takes years of time to just like continue that journey and feel like you've learned enough to do what it takes.
No, I feel the same way. I feel like every step you take, you elevate, you know? And
Uh,
what's your favorite track you've made so far, and why?
hmm. I would say personally, my song called Let Me Talk. And I want to say I think that's my favorite because of the process that was kind of like in making that song. That was one of my favorite like beats I guess I've produced. That was an entirely self-produced track, and I think that the instrumental itself is super catchy and like very unique to what I would typically do. So I think that that song is probably my favorite. Also, it's got one of my good friends, Cisco, on it that's like been inspiring me for years. And to have him on a track and like work with alongside Cisco is always so much fun. So, um, I would say definitely for me, Let Me Talk, because it's just like it sounds good. The instrumental's good to me. I'm proud of the production. I spent hours mixing and mastering it, and I think the product itself is just really good. I like it. So I would say that's my favorite track.
Yeah, every artist has one song that means the most. And I mean, mine is My City. If you look up Matty B43, My City, and it's like whatever city I go into, it's my city.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
it
I
was my
agree.
first ever single, you know?
Yeah. Though, I mean, those early ones too mean the most as well because it's like it's the foundation of where you started. And yeah, I also like to go back and listen to tracks that I made years ago because it shows my growth over the time and be like, wow, my voice has really gotten better. I've gotten a lot better at singing, or, wow, now I've transitioned from taking people's beats online to making my own. Like, it's a really cool way to kind of gather where you started, where your foundation is, and where you are today. So I'd say those initial songs are also very important.
Yeah, it's all about that personal development. Now, what
Mhm.
is one of the biggest lessons you've learned from making music?
Um, I would say, I mean, I feel like I learn new stuff all the time. I can't even tell you the biggest lesson because there's a lot of lessons I've learned. I don't know what the biggest would be, but one I can share with you, kind of has to do with what I was talking about a bit earlier is don't feel like music is all about expressing yourself and being creative. Like don't let a certain sound like kind of put you in a box for how you're supposed to make the song sound. I'm making a pop song. Oh, I need it to be structured this way. This is the typical like chord progression of this genre. Like I'm gonna make like don't stick to any rules. Like rules are shouldn't be involved. Like there's no rules to music. It's just you. So it's like I would say the biggest advice I can stand by right now, just like that I contribute to the music I'm working on in this like at this time is to just like let your body just flow. Like just do you. Don't think about the rules of music. The rules literally don't matter. It's like have fun and do something that you think sounds good at the end of the day. If you support your product, if you like your product, like it's good to you, then it's good to a bunch of other people out there. So
Now, what's something the average listener doesn't understand about being an artist?
what how much goes behind the scenes? There's some songs I haven't released that I've been working on actively for like years on end, like years. And it's like when those songs come out, people listen to it 3 minutes and they're like, "Cool, like that was a really good song." But I'm like, "Yo, you really don't know. Like you really don't know." There's songs like I'm working on a song right now called "Hell Breaks Loose," and I started that song. I want to say it was June of 23. June of 23 is when I started that, and we're still not done. I go to the studio probably once a month at that point, just because I'm working on it with a very specific individual. Shout out to Kevin Selmer. He's absolutely so talented at like with everything. But yeah, I've been working on that song with Kevin for a long time now, and we're still in the works. And it's like I have videos of behind the scenes of us like laying down the bass line. Then we're like, come back 2 weeks later, we're like, yo, we want to tweak the bass line. Oh, now we want to add this. We want to create more of a vision in terms of like a story. Like when you're listening, we want you to hear what's happening in the room and create a movie in your brain. When you close your eyes, you can listen to what's happening. And then the song comes in, and then we bring the story back in the middle of the song so people can follow along with the lyrics and the like way, like the story, I guess, behind it. And it's like great because with this song, we're able to have like the listener like just sit there, close their eyes, and maybe not take the story exactly for how I designed it to be, but interpret the story in their own way. Like, hey, I heard this person do this. Like, I hear this. This could be a guy. This could be a girl that I'm listening to. Like, however it applies to your life and the way you want to like experience the story from your perspective. Like that's like, you know, all this thought is being done behind it. And that's like aside from the whole mixing process, spending hours making everything sound cohesive and then getting it sent to someone to get it mastered and then working on all the pictures behind it and the videos and the content and getting it published in the articles. And like, there's so much behind releases and people don't see that. They listen to the song in 3 minutes and they go to the next song and they may or may not add it to their playlist. But it's like at the end of the day, like I put, you know, so much time into this product and I'm proud of it. So it's like, I'd say that's the most, yes, that.
Now, what's a dream goal for you for Chasefelloff for your music career?
I would say my desire for where I want to be, my current state, like right now, is I want to be known as like how do I say this? I want to create music that everyone can enjoy. So I want to be able to be a producer of hip hop style music and be like known in that branch of music or that genre as like, oh, you know, this guy can make good stuff. I also want to, I recently, here, I'll pull it up real quick. I recently just got like the basic little DJ mixing board. So I want to be able to make my own, like EDM, techno, whatever songs that you'd hear maybe at the club or, you know, at a party or whatever, and be able to DJ myself. So I'd say my goals right now are learning to be a more talented DJ, constantly get more creative with my productions and do stuff to stand out. I want to learn, you know, how to properly navigate sound design, craft my own sounds with intent, and, you know, continue to just show the world like what I'm working on and inspire them to work on whatever they want themselves, live to inspire, you know. So that's exactly where my goals are right now.
No, your TikTok page back when I interviewed you the first time was inspiring people. What was it? It was inspiring people through TikTok.
And it was a lot of inspiring people through TikTok and maintaining a positive environment, which I still stand by. I think positivity is like, you know, if you surround yourself with a bunch of negative people, you know, you don't feel as inspired. You're with a bunch of positive people that support you and, you know, keep you uplifted. You know, you just had a bad day, they're gonna like, you know, be around you and cheer you up, and it just generates, you know, overall better well-being, happiness, you know, more inspiration, more drive. So that was kind of like what I was pushing people or pushing on back when I was doing a lot more TikTok. You know, I still live with that message, like inspiring others through positivity, and I think, you know, living with a positive mindset, kind of half glass half full kind of mentality is very important, very important.
Now, with that being said, I mean, how do you handle criticism or negativity feedback?
I mean, I played Call of Duty too much, bro. I don't let it get to me. Like you know, I grew up on Black Ops 2. I've heard it all. I don't need to. I don't let it. I don't really take deep cuts from that kind of stuff because, like, I'm proud of what I make. I know what I'm doing. If you don't feel that way, you know, whatever. Like, that's okay. You know, you have your opinion. You're entitled to that. You're good. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. I'm not gonna stop because you didn't like it. So
Yeah, not everyone will love your work.
Yeah, exactly. And you're gonna appeal to an audience regardless. I can get hate from 100,000 people, but I'll have 10,000 people that love my music, and it's like that's what I live for.
So true. I mean, now what advice would you give to someone trying to make music?
Practice, keep working on it every day. Do what you can to learn. It takes years and years. Like I have people still ask me on like a regular basis, like, "Yo, can I come over and learn from you? Like, how do I do this with my music?" And it's like I can teach you how to do it, but the only way you'll get better is to just sit down and literally practice. Like you could pump out, like literally my advice would just be to try and make like a couple different instrumentals a day if that's what you're interested in, or if you're interested in singing, like, or practice writing, like write a song a day or a couple songs a week and like practice. Like it's just about saying this is a goal I want to set by the end of the week. I need to have this done. Do it, repeat, and just keep, because like, I can say I'm happy with where I am in my knowledge of music right now, like with production, with singing, with whatever it is. And it's like I didn't just get here. I didn't just like, here I am, I make music that I'm proud of. It's like I've spent 7, 8, 9 years of my life working on this. Like it's like it took time, but it's just practice. It's just practice. So yeah.
Now, what keeps you motivated?
Um, in terms of music,
Yeah, I mean, you got passion, you got fans. I mean, you got a whole bunch of things going for you.
yeah, I mean, I feel like what keeps me inspired and keeps moving me forward is myself. I wouldn't say, I'll have people that tell me, I love this song, Chase, like good stuff. When are you releasing next? And it's like, yeah, like I'm releasing soon. I get inspiration from them, and I feel great that like I'm glad people like my music. I would say that really though, it's a matter of like drive in myself to like keep doing it. I would say what inspires me is like the thought of having a full discography of songs that I'm proud of, like whether people like it or not. Like what inspires me is to my end goal is like having a couple albums out, whatever X amount of songs out that are all great in their own ways, and I love them, and I can share them with other people. So I would say that just continues, and also just learning, like getting better, like me, like getting better playing the piano, like that is inspiring in itself. Me like practicing DJing and like, yo, I just did that transition and that was so cool. Like now I know how to transition from this song to this song, like and getting better. Like that in itself is very inspiring because it's just building blocks of just getting better and better and learning. So I would say, yeah, those are my biggest, like, those are some of the things I look for when I'm in, like, to feel inspired and continue.
Now, as an artist, I had this discussion with some other people. Do you listen to your own music?
Definitely. Um, I spend a lot more time listening to my unreleased music because I try to listen back with fresh ears on occasion and hear for anything I can add or change or fix or whatever. Because I'm always looking progress, like what can I put out rather than what do I already have out. I do still go back and listen to my own songs, and I won't say that I listen to all of them. There are some I've heard about a million times that I need to skip. But I do still continue to listen to my discography. I would say relatively often I'll go through, and there's definitely a handful of songs of mine that I like genuinely enjoy. It's like if I didn't make them, I would still listen to them. Like I really, really, not to go to say that I don't listen like the music I put out, but there's some that I really, really like of mine that I continuously listen to. But mainly it's my unreleased music. So yeah.
No, it's so cool. I mean, I'm the same way, and I listen to my song, My City, a lot, and it's my walk-up song whenever I do anything. It's like, this
Yeah,
is my city on my back.
that's fire. That's awesome. I love it.
Now, what's one of your daily habits that helps you stay focused?
Daily habits, man, work.
Discipline.
Just working, bro. I've been having this mindset where it's like, what do I need to get to where I want to be? And it's like, I need to keep working. So it's like, if I want to, I really want to be able to continue living in a beautiful city and be able to afford rent in these this thing is like, what do I need? I need money. How do I get the money? What can I like offer people to get money? What services can I offer? How can I like make more connections to get me to this goal of like, I want to stay here. I want to live here. So it's like, honestly, it's just like working keeps me dedicated. Like I keep thinking like, how could I be better? How could I be better? How could I like get farther and closer to my goal? So I mean, yeah, I would just say keeping my head down and just not letting like yourself procrastinate or like feel like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym right now. I'm not gonna go. It's like you like it's a mindset of like do it. Like don't be, lazy. Get it done. And it's like sometimes it's hard, but I feel like that just like that mindset of kind of being on myself for that is really a driving force. Especially when I look at like other people that I may know in person or I see online and I see how hard they're working and I'm like, why am I not working that hard? Like, do I really want it? Like do like you gotta do it. So I would say that definitely that thought keeps me driven.
Yeah, you got to keep moving forward no matter what they say. You got to keep on rocking every single day. Now,
Yeah.
how do you define success in your music career?
Um, I would say a point where I would feel successful would be where I am able to be financially, not entirely financially free, but financially stable enough to like afford my monthly bills and like whatever I owe, on top of, some fun going to travel or like having nights out or whatever. And also I would so like it's a couple parts of it that answer that question. It's being able to support myself where I don't need to work a job. I can just spend my time working on music. It's a point where I feel as if I've grown a big enough audience that I am inspiring and changing the lives of some people, or maybe just making them feel better on bad days, or knowing that I'm like there. I'm a human just like them. I just make music that they like. They can reach out to me and talk to me. Like I feel like it's a combination of being able to affect people on a daily basis and positively affect their days or enhance their days, but also being able to like spend my time working on the music and not having to keep working another job to sustain myself, like have this be the job. So I would say that kind of defines my success when it comes to music.
Know thyself. I love it. I love it.
Fair.
And now I want to switch over to the future of music. I mean, where do you see the music industry going in the next 5 years?
AI, something AI. You know, I I know Kanye is kind of a crazy topic right now, but I was watching a podcast that he was on maybe a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about how his album that's coming out in a couple months is like a lot of AI is using. And I know besides Kanye as a person, music wise, he knows music. He's really talented music wise. And so if he's out here saying that AI is the future, and he was explaining it like, when autotune came out, like a lot of people were hating on autotune, a lot of people didn't like the way it sounded, but it became like the trend. It was the trend. He said like AI is the new autotune. Like he was saying that he's implemented it in his tracks. I saw lots of clips of him taking like certain vocal samples and then putting like via AI, like translating it into his voice and then like complementing his instruments with AI. And I don't know. I don't have enough answers. I don't think anyone really has answers right now. But I feel like in the next 5 years, we're gonna start seeing AI be heavily influenced in the music industry, whether that's visionary wise, like through videos. Um, you know, quick side chain, my buddy Daniel, one of my good friends, is working at an AI firm right now that is strictly about like working with record labels and getting these artists on to get their body scanned and then take their body like scanned like the content and putting it into an AI video of wherever they want it to be. And that's where they're like creating music videos now. It's like you saw Atlantic Records just did um a little theme thing for Uzi Vert not too long ago where they saw like Uzi's like spaceship in downtown New York City. His UFO was landing, and that's all like Uzi being scanned into AI, and then AI is like creating this illusion that there's a UFO that was his for, and it's just like good marketing. I think that AI is going to be a huge part in marketing, videos, portraits, song, like everything. I think that it's going to be completely changing in the next 5 to 10 years, but it's good to have your roots, how to know, acoustics, how to know like how to play your instruments and stay back to the roots, because it's not going to continue. It's not, AI is not taking over. AI, I mean, it is, but the people that know their roots and know how to do this stuff like now are still going to like stay out as long as they can keep up to date with AI and know their like how to do everything they're doing now. It's an unstoppable force. But yeah, I think AI is going to be a huge role.
Now, how do you feel about AI making music?
I mean, I feel like it depends on how it's done. I think it does take away part of the authenticity. Um, but if there is some way you can strategically manipulate it, like some sample or something, given AI resources, like I think that it could be a way to kind of unlock a new sound, maybe, for the future. But I do think where we're at music wise right now and like in the past, like the most talent is now. And I feel like as soon as AI gets heavily involved, it's going to be a lot more of how do you phrase the template that you're feeding to AI rather than how well do you play the instrument. And I don't know. I don't really know. I guess we'll see what happens in the next 5 years. But I do for sure think that AI is going to be a huge part of music, and I'm honestly very interested to hear like what kind of AI was implemented into the album Kanye is talking about, because he seems to be using it a lot and says it's really changing the way music's gonna sound. So I guess we'll see. But I don't know. We'll find out in 5 years.
No, only time will tell, and technology
Yeah.
is only getting smarter.
Yeah. I mean, every day. It's honestly scary, but I mean, I don't know. We're probably gonna look back at this podcast maybe in 10 years and be like, oh wow, those were such great times when humans thought about things. But like, I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll see.
There's already AI making podcasts now, so like it's whatever industry you're in 5 years from now, it's just you got to be
And
authentic.
and the scariest part is they're probably really good at making podcasts. They're probably really good at it. It's
It's pretty scary how good they are.
Hey, well, that gives you tips. Maybe you can find some kind of way to incorporate AI into it at some point. I don't know how I don't know. That just requires a lot of creative thinking, but that would be, something to take advantage of.
I just really do enjoy diving into the stories and experiences from people from all walks of life. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, there's nothing that beats the human interactions. So
And I'm
that's one
naturally
thing
just
AI.
curious.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's awesome. I mean, that will definitely take you far in itself.
Now, what role do you see the streaming platforms playing in like an artist's success today? Like Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, and all the other stuff.
What role do I see it playing in artists' lives?
Yes, like I mean,
Well,
do you think it's necessary to be on those to be a artist?
I I'd say, depending on your level of fame, yeah, I would say if you're someone that is very well known, you don't need it. You can make a lot more money without it. Um, I do think that for artists that are like smaller than me, my size, or even bigger to like a pretty big threshold, like it's pretty mandatory to be on as many platforms as possible. What's your biggest reach? Not everyone has Spotify. Not everyone has Apple Music. Not everyone, like some people use strictly SoundCloud or Tidal or Deezer or some of these even smaller like streaming platforms that some people haven't even heard of. And it's like, you got to be able to appeal to everyone. You got to, especially at this like size of like the audience you have. I think it's crucial. And it's also like these platforms are not meant to like bury your music and hide it. Like when you put it out, they have algorithms that are designed to push new artists and spread the like message that these people that don't have many listeners have. And uh I think, yeah, I do think it's crucial, especially like where I'm at and maybe like where you're at. I think it's like very important that we're on all platforms. But when you got a huge following, you know at that point you have your social media platforms that does the talking for you. You just post it on your website. Hey, buy my album here. It's $5-10, whatever it is. I don't know. And you're making a lot more money without them. But yeah, until you get to that point, I'd say it's definitely a necessity.
That's really good insight. Now, being a producer, now, do you think an artist should focus on an album or singles?
I think it depends where you're at in your journey. I would say predominantly singles is much better because you're able to push songs individually, one at a time, spend the time working on each song. Um, when you release a project, it could do poorly in terms of performance, and that could be somewhere between 7 and X amount, 15 songs, whatever, that you just put out with expectations of it doing much better than it did, and it just didn't do well. And it's like, that's just unfortunate. So to avoid that, I think starting off like putting out as many singles as possible. Then there's a point when you feel as if you're ready for an album and you have enough listeners and you're maybe on some momentum where your listens are going up or your followers are going up. And it's like, when you have that momentum, sure, like go through and make an EP, make a project of like you're choosing to give to everyone. And projects are great because you can kind of keep a similar theme throughout and make a cohesive like project behind a certain theme. Whereas, singles are kind of just freedom, like do what you want. You can make something that's inspired by love, then something that's sad, then something that's, like I'm about to go bench press 380 pounds, like whatever it is, like you can kind of navigate that with singles. So I feel like kind of depends. I'd say starting off with singles and like doing singles for a while is probably a better strategy as a smaller artist. But as you get bigger, you don't see big artists dropping singles a lot more now. It's like some artists nowadays only drop albums, and they'll drop an album every 3 years or whatever it is. Like when you get to a certain point, that fan base doesn't go away, so it doesn't matter. But like growing, singles are very important.
That was really good insight. Now, you touched on this earlier. Now, how important is branding in it, like for an artist in 2025?
I think it's very important. I think you can create great music, and if you don't have an image or a brand, it's going to be harder for people to look at you a certain way. Like, oh, I like, this is who this person reminds me of, or like, this is unique about this person that makes me like them. It's kind of harder to promote yourself without an image. I feel like let me think of someone for an example. There's a smaller artist named, I don't know why this guy came to my thoughts right away, but Arden Jones, or Arden James Arden Jones. I don't know why I'm blanking right now. I haven't heard him in a while. Arden. I don't know. Anyway, I'll check him out real quick while I'm talking about him. But he's this guy that basically makes a lot of ukulele inspired songs and happy songs. Arden Jones, I think it is. Yes, Arden Jones, this guy. And he's done a lot, like he's done really well, but he has a certain image behind his music that makes me feel more connected to him. Because his music is all themed a certain way. It's very heavily inspired by like kind of positive melodies. He himself has a similar look in all of his pictures. He's always got a hat on. He's always like got a ukulele. He's with the same group of people. And it's like having that image makes me feel more connected to you, and more inspired to like listen to you. And there's like plenty of artists like that you can think about. There's probably everyone's got their own thing. Like even like people like say Uzi, like they just like do things, weird hairstyles that like stand out that you wouldn't like typically see. Like weird, like bro, forehead jewels. Like what? Like who does that? But because he does that, it's like, whoa, this dude stands out. Like I feel very like inspired to keep listening and like check him out and be like, this guy's different. I like different. So I'd say, yeah, branding yourself is very important, and it's sometimes hard to come up with something, but once you find what suits you and what you love and what represents your like your personality and your style of music and your like who you want to surround yourself with and like what you display yourself as online to people that don't know you, like then all you need is the music and keep pushing that image, and that's a really great way to set yourself aside.
No, that's something I do for my branding for Matty B43. I'm a cowboy, and I'm really just all into hard work and dedication, and just keep on the grind, not stopping at what I'm doing, just staying focused and not listening to all the haters out there, you know?
No, for sure. And it's like I think that's a great thing to have. I especially like the cowboy because if you want your the people that you don't know about or that don't know about you to see you like, and you have this constant theme of cowboy, it's like that's who they're gonna kind of look at you as, and that's how they associate. You never know. Next time they go like see a cowboy, they may just instantly subconsciously think about you. Like I don't know. It's like it's kind of branding yourself, and I like that you kind of set that image for yourself, um, of being a cowboy. I think that's great. So,
No, I appreciate that. Now, what's a fun fact most people don't know about you?
uh, wow, fun fact. Um, Man, you got me off guard with this one. Fun fact, I try to think of something unique that I haven't like shared before, maybe, or something silly.
For me, I used to play the ukulele.
Okay, okay.
Still do. I
Um,
got to pull it back out and make some more content with it after what you just brought up.
yeah, no, yeah, I feel that. Yeah, and I got a guitar and a ukulele with like so hyped to learn about it, and then I'm like, I just opened my closet the other day. I'm like, oh, I forgot I had those. But fun fact. Oh man, I fun fact, random fact. I went to an all guys high school, no girls. Random fact. So I don't know, just thinking of random things, and that's something that's new. A lot of people out haven't been through something like that. So, so yeah.
Cool stuff. Now, what's your favorite part of performing live? I saw a whole bunch of stuff on Instagram that you did.
I love being able to bring together the community, especially like the people I love. And when I have my friends and family show up and they're being supportive and I'm able to just like smile and like be up on stage and be like, yep, this is like, you guys are watching me right now. Like, I love that. I love being able to smile at new people in the crowd that don't know who I am and kind of like get them to like smile back or just be like happy in that moment. It's all about curating the vibes, curating the energy in the room. Like I like to just try to make things happy, and it's like I try my best to curate the songs that I'm performing to kind of match the energy that I want to provide for the room. And so, like, if I'm in like a kind of a scenario where I want to hype everyone up and get everyone jumping, like I'll throw on that one song. Like, what would I play in that? Like, I have some unreleased song, but I would throw on some specific song that like bring that high energy and like bring it and smile at people still, and like everyone's jumping, smiling. Versus like a slow down, like bring out your flashlights, kind of like back and forth thing. Then I start curating that kind of vibe as we transition from something hype into something that or whatever it is. So I love to just bring the vibes, bring the energy. I love to try and make everyone feel involved, smile at everyone, and just yeah. I mean, it's also fun like being able to share something that I'm passionate about and that I created with people that may or may not have heard it before. Like me just sitting in my room or on stage or at the park, like just thinking about my songs or singing my songs. Like it's just fun. So it's like I love to do that.
No, Chasefelloff, you really do bring the energy to your music, and you do a great job. Now, if you could perform anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Oh, let's go with anywhere in the world. And I think it would be cool to just do a show with like a super. I'd have to find the name of this country. I don't remember the name. I literally wrote it down because I want to go one day. Um, but it's like this country. I'm gonna explain what it looks like. I forgot what it's called, but this part of this country is like it's all these cliffs and mountains that have been naturally formed into like caves, and these caves have become hotels. and so you can stay in these like cave rooms, and it's just like when you go outside on your deck, it's like this view of like just greenery and just it's like all, and they have hot air balloons. I think it would be so cool to perform there. I'm blanking on the name. I feel like it starts with a K or something, but um it's like to go stand out and have hot air balloons behind me and just beautiful nature, and I just collect a bunch of people that are there to like, you know, be in this new environment or like see something there. Like I would love to do something in nature, I guess. That's the end of my story, or like my end of my point. But specifically at this one, I wish I knew the name of it. It's just a beautiful spot, but I feel like in nature, just a beautiful scenery, like that would be awesome for sure.
Now, if I could perform anywhere in the world, I would perform at the Pine Knob Music Theater, my local venue that I go to for all my summer concerts. I've seen so many artists from 50 Cent to Big Time Rush there. I mean, it was just like one of those things that it would bring me back home, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Wait, so if you could perform anywhere, you'd want to perform there, like anywhere in the whole
Mm-hmm.
world?
Anywhere in the whole world, it would be Pine Knob.
Is that just because of your connection that you feel to it?
Too many good concerts there, to tell you the truth. And I just see myself as like, this is the biggest I can get. It would be Pine Knob. This is you made it if you made it there.
All right, fair enough. That's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. I mean, yeah, I can see that being a similar thing too. There's a couple of popular venues out here in San Diego that I've seen or heard of a lot of people, and I feel like yeah, performing at a big name place like that is definitely that's how you know you've made some sort of impact.
No, it's so true. I mean, now, who has been the biggest impact on your music career?
I gather inspiration. I mean, impact in terms of I would say it's my friends. For people I know, it's my friends and people that support me and like constantly remind me that you're making good stuff. Like keep going. And the people I work alongside, specifically like my friends Daniel, Cisco. I have support from a lot of like just other friends in general. The list goes on, but I would say I get an inspiration from them, but I also get inspiration from artists I listen to. Like I love to try and recreate some of the styles and techniques that like Dominic Fike does. Like I'm a huge Dominic Fike fan. I would say when it comes to rap, like I love to try and recreate like a similar flow and style of like rhyme schemes as like J. Cole and uh you know I feel inspired by some of the production in JPEG Mafia, like hearing like different just a whole bunch of different like sounds. So I feel like I gather inspiration from a lot of different artists. But what really holds me down and keeps me grinding too is like my just being surrounded by people that know, that want to guide me to continue, I would say.
Now, you're always spreading positivity. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Receive. Um, I would say honestly the biggest thing I feel like is kind of what I touched upon earlier was like working for yourself. And if you've got a goal that you want to reach at some point, like backtrack. Say like, I'm imagining myself as a professional producer. Now, what was the step I made right before I went famous? Like, or like made a successful record or whatever it was. And like kind of backtrack and then follow the plan of like what I want to do to get there. And I would say the overall message though would be like genuinely like if you want something, it doesn't matter how hard it sounds, just think, how can you get there? And just like you have to be the one that works. You have to be the one that sets up that connection, that one that sets up that interview, the one that tries to contact and reach that manager or whatever it is. Like no one's really going to do it for you. So just pushing yourself to keep working and stay focused towards your goals, I would say, is like the biggest message that I can share and that I've learned.
No, it's just some really good words that stuck with you.
Yeah. Well, are you asking me what are some good words, or those were some
No,
good
those
words?
are. I mean, do you have other
Oh,
words that stuck with you?
keep trying, keep working.
Keep on
No, for
going.
sure. Yeah, keep on going. I would say, yeah, that for sure. Following that advice has just been like super motivating for me to like honestly just step out of my comfort zone. And that's a big thing too. That I forgot to mention that is like just stepping out of your comfort zone because a lot of people do the same thing every day. Like I felt really comfortable with my job. I've been there for years, and I wasn't really doing anything to get out of it and like advance my own personal career and like goals in life until like I kind of had that change in mindset where like I can't just do what I'm comfortable with all the time. Like I gotta start doing things that make me feel uncomfortable because you know that's how you advance. Like I'm working for a new company now, and it's like I'm very happy with this job, and it's like I wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to work here if I didn't like make myself uncomfortable by putting a lot of work in and then like going up to the CEO and like presenting a whole presentation to him about why what I can do to help. And it's like that was super uncomfortable for me, and it was something I've never done before, but like I did it and it worked, and now I'm like leveling up closer and closer to my goals. And it's like I see that kind of stuff in my life, and I've seen it in other people's lives, and it's super inspiring. It's like just step out of that comfort zone, like do what you think would be uncomfortable, because there will be a positive that comes out of it that you will gain. So yeah.
Yeah, no, put yourself in situations you don't feel comfortable in is the ultimate way to grow.
Yeah, for sure. So that I would say that is another great piece of advice. Like, yeah, even if you're
Now, what do
feeling
you do when you're
uncomfortable,
not making music?
oh man, the list goes on. Right now I'm a full-time student, so it's like spending a lot of time just, going to classes. I got classes weekly and lots of work. I've just been writing endless 1,000-word essays for one of my classes just recently, like this week. Um, Other than that, it's just work, like working I work two jobs right now. Right now I'm just working part-time at Raising Cane's just to like get some side money. It works well with my school schedule and everything. And then I'm also working for a new company called Black Flag, which I'm giving a quick shout out to Black Flag. Um, and this is just a new journey that we're all beginning right now, and starting to grow this company. It's like a creative solutions company. So I've been spending a lot of my time working alongside Black Flag and trying to create like different strategic plans for our social medias, and also working at Cane's while being a full-time student. I have a girlfriend that I love, and so spending a lot of time trying to make her happy and spend time with her, with my friends, and then music. It's like there's all this, like it's constantly trying to find a balance between everything, but there's a lot going on. But the thing is though, I feel very motivated to have a lot going on, because it's just like there's always something to do. There's always something to work on. There's always some way to advance, and navigating, times when I feel overwhelmed maybe by what's going on. Like it's growth because I'm pushing myself to what I may feel is uncomfortable and making myself comfortable with it so I can get better, like at maybe navigating a load of work in the future. It's like I've done it before, I can do it again. So I feel like there's pros and cons with that, but like I would say, yeah, there's a lot. It's just school, work, music, life, friends, family. That's everything that's going on over here. So
Now, what's one thing you wish more people knew about Chasefelloff?
uh that I have ideas, and um I will I'm going to execute the ideas, and I will surprise y'all one day.
Okay, well, what's next for you in your music journey?
Oh, right now I'm kind of what I was talking about is Black Flag. I'm super excited to start working for this company. So I feel like what's next is they kind of correlate with music in a way. One of my bosses in the company, Jordan, is he works over at Atlantic Records. So they do a lot of partnerships and collaborations with Atlantic, and the artists they've signed. So I feel like this is I'd like to keep working this way and like keep generating ideas for this company. And but other than that, I would say my future is like I would love to just get better at DJing, start working on my own thing there, keep getting better at sampling and productions and being unique with my sounds and creating things that people haven't heard before, or just super random inspiring sounds, and just better my craft at production and DJing, and continuing to grow in this company and like get our name out there and work on new campaigns and like all this stuff. So there's a lot that I'm excited about, but those are like some of my favorites.
I'm excited to see what you can do on your journey. Now, where can people follow you and support your work? I know everything will be in the description down below, but you want to
Mm.
shout it out?
Yeah, of course. So you guys can find me everywhere: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. etc. at Chasefelloff, just at Chasefelloff, all one word. And quick shout out, we don't have any handles yet, but be on the lookout for Delia. Delia is starting this year. It's a duo group, me and my buddy Daniel, where we're going to be working together to produce EDM techno songs, start DJing together, and start throwing like shows and festivals. Hopefully one day we'll get good enough to do all that. So Delia is next up, but that'll be for another time. Maybe next podcast we'll have something behind Delia. But yeah, right now it's just Chasefelloff and Black Flag. Shout out to Black Flag, blackflag.nyc. Go check them out.
I love that. Now, is there anything else you'd like to share before we go?
Just, keep, like we said, touched upon a lot. Keep working up your dreams. Keep chasing what you love, and surround yourself with people you love. Surround yourself with positive people. Surround yourself with people that are inspiring to you, that you inspire, and spread love, spread positivity. Keep the good energy up in your life, and you will hopefully remain happy and follow all your dreams. And yeah, so.
No, go chase your dreams, because your dreams will not chase you. Chase,
Yes,
thank you for being
chase
on
your
the podcast today.
Of course. Thanks for having me. It was awesome.
No, I appreciate you sharing your journey through your music and all your vision you have for the future. And I wish you all the best.
Dude, thank you. You as well. Keep it up with the podcast. You're killing it. Putting in the work. You said over 700 videos since you've been working. Like, that's a real grind right there. And like that's proof that you'll make something of this one day. Like
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. I can't wait to see what's next for you as well. And as always, remember, every day is Friday. Until next time, everybody. Thank you.
Later.